Hello, and welcome to Crocheting with the Classics. Today, we're going to talk about how to make a chain stitch, a single crochet, and a slip stitch, as well as how to turn your work. So this is actually part 5 of our Crochet for Beginners series, and we're going to start by tying our yarn up. So, simple knot. And you notice I'm doing this around the thickest part of my crochet hook here. That way my hook's got enough room to move. But I'm not doing it around this part because, well, it's just easier not to. It slips a bit. Alright, so I've made a double knot. Now I've got a little starting loop. So, first thing I'm going to do is yarn over. So that's where I reach around and grab some yarn with my hook and pull through. And this is a chain stitch. So I'm going to chain 10. So there's 1, yarn over, pull through, 2, 3, 4, and you'll notice I'm holding my hook like a pencil, and that's easier for me. There are other people who hold it like this. I've never been able to handle that. It works better for me if I'm holding it like I would a pencil or a pen. And you see how I've got the yarn pinched here, and I've got holding between my thumb and my back 2 fingers, and then here to keep the tension I've got it sandwiched between my middle finger and my index finger, and that just keeps the yarn taut and it makes it easier to work with. So I'm going to continue my 10 stitches, and then I'm going to count because I talked in the middle of that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we go. 9, 10. Now I've got my 10 stitches. So I've got a 10 chain here. Now I'm going to turn my work. And that just means I'm going to be working in the other direction. And I'll show you a full thing on that in a minute. But now I'm going to do a slip stitch. So I'm going to go into the second chain from the hook, not the first chain. Sometimes you might go into the first, but it's harder. So it's easier just to start with the second chain from the hook. So I'm going to go in here, and here we go. Now you notice when I went in, I aimed for in between this part and this part. And that way, you see this? Where I've got 2 little stitches there? So that makes things easier. So a slip stitch, I'm just going to yarn over, and I'm going to pull through all of it. So there's my slip stitch. Now, once again, I'm going to do another slip stitch. I'm just going to go in, same spot, but down the next chain, yarn over, and you notice slip stitches are a little hard because this little loop doesn't want to play ball. So if you pinch between your thumb and this finger and hold it in place, it's a lot easier to get that slip stitch. Just makes things simpler. Now let's do single crochets for the rest. So for a single crochet, I'm going to go in the same place. There we go. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to pull through. So now I've got 2 loops on my hook. And you notice I didn't pull through this last one. So now I'm going to yarn over again and pull through these 2. And there's my single crochet. So let's do that for the rest of these. I'm going to insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And you notice we're getting a lovely little line here, stitches. So we're going to go all the way down this line. And when we get to the end, we're going to turn again. And the reason we're going to turn is because we're not working in the round. We're working in rows, back and forth. Now on this last one, this is the starter one, you notice there's not 2 there. So it's okay just to go through this part. All right, so here we go. We've got our line of single crochet and our 2 slip stitches. And you notice the slip stitches look a lot different than the single crochet. And that's because they're a lot tighter. So most of the time when you're making something, if you want it small and compact and you want a tight stitch, you're better off using the single crochet than using slip stitches, because you get the pattern worked up faster, and it's also not as difficult to work with. It's a lot easier going into a single crochet than it is going into a slip stitch. All right, so to turn with a single crochet, we're going to chain 1, and then we're literally going to turn our work to face the other direction. There we go. And then we can just work back across. Now, if we were turning a slip stitch, we wouldn't bother with chaining 1. Like I said, it's really tight. So chain 1 for a single crochet, and then you can just turn and work your way back up the row. All right, I hope that was helpful. And one more thing I forgot. You notice these little divots here? By far the easiest place to put your hook in and continue your single crochets. Just makes things nice and simple. All right, I hope that was helpful, and thank you for being with me today. Have a lovely morning. Goodbye.